That. It's kind of that. I like this energy for you, SeaGoat. I like it. We see the crap with people, but you're not really letting it affect you. Hello, Capricorn. My name is Kristen Simone Hansen, and welcome to SeaGoat Secrets. Hi Capricorn, I'm Kristen and I'm a healer. In this video, you are going to get a full rundown of Capricorn's energy for the month of November and how it affects you and your placements. I begin with the astrology and I end with a card reading. If at any point in this video you feel connected to me and would like to become a client of mine, you can do so by joining this link here and also in the bio. I welcome you. And if you'd like to know what my clients are saying about me in my client circle, you can see this link to my Trustpilot here as well. And as you all know, I am a global citizen. And so if you have not already, please let me know where you're listening from in the comments and we can all connect and be a strong collective. Now, with all that being said, let's get into this. Hi Capricorn, so here we are for the month of November. And we are looking at Scorpio season. SeaGoat, Scorpio season is a great time for you. It's always a time of, let's say, clarity, soul clarity, opening the door. Scorpio likes to open your eyes. Scorpio likes to show you the possibilities in terms of people, your connections, who you can open the door to, a new way of seeing the world, a new way of understanding and relating yourself to the world. Now, let's look back at October. October was a time where you finally got your self-confidence back, SeaGoat. You went through this great fall in August and September when it came to your self-esteem, who it is that you are, your sense of identity, etc. And you found yourself, let's say, coming full circle in the month of October. October showed you your value. It showed you the possibilities. It showed you who it is that you could be. It showed you that actually you are enough. You do have it, SeaGoat. You are great. Let's just say that. So this nice shine through happened when it came to your self-esteem, who it is that you are, and you went through a personal rebranding. Remember, this is your personal reading, but branding is something that also happens on a personal level. So you felt better within you. You got more serious about how it is that you showed yourself to the world and how you showed up in the world, and there was a passion tied to who you are, to your identity, seeing yourself clearly, seeing yourself better, let's just say, which was nice. It was that energy, SeaGoat. Now, when we look at November, this is interesting because it's taking who you realized you were in October and it's realizing it, let's say in November, putting nose to the ground, making it factual, making it felt, making it seen, making it understood through the eyes of other people, felt through other people. And so this is the thing, your social life, SeaGoat, your social life is the name of the game in the month of November, right? How people see and understand you, SeaGoat. Who do they think you are? How do they feel about you? And you are quite self-conscious in November because you know you need to change the way in which other people relate to you. You know you need to get very in control when it comes to your social life, your social awareness. This newfound sense of identity makes it so that your eyes become clearer in terms of how people relate to you, how people connect to you, and what it is that you need to do to ensure that you are understood. We've got a lot of Neptune activation here in terms of Pisces. We also have Saturn being in Pisces as well, going through the drum roll of Aries being in Chiron. You're ending major cycles when it comes to who it is that you are and have been for a long period of time, SeaGoat. For many of you, a lifetime because of your fourth house. because the 9 year, remember, we're still in the 9 year, SeaGoat. If you haven't seen the 9 year video, I'll link that right here, but we're still in the 9 year, which means that it's still your year of healing. It's still your year of understanding. It's still your year of closing doors, closing chapters. And you're closing the door on your fourth house, on who you were as a child, what your childhood meant for you, what your family of origin meant for you, what your mother meant to you. Who are you in comparison to how you were trained, how you were raised, the themes in your family, the karmic stories in your family, the generational curses in your family? Who are you in comparison to these people around you? This is the thing, SeaGoat, drum roll, right? Now here we are looking at November. And when we see November, November asks for you to really test this, for you to really try this, for you to really understand this, okay? Themes of people. And now that you have a better understanding of you, how can you relate better to the people around you? How can you relate better to the way that you want to relate to other people, the way you want to understand other people, the way you want to connect to other people? Now, we enter into the month with Mars going into Sagittarius. And I'm just going to kind of rip through these, SeaGoat, because we have a lot of transits. So through the first week, we've got Mars entering into Sagittarius, the full moon happens in Taurus, Venus enters into Scorpio, Pluto squares Pisces in the North Node, all in the first week. Okay, that's quite intense. Back to back to back, I guess I'll just summarize and say that you you want to make your unconscious conscious. You know who it is that you've really been wanting to be inside, and it's asking for that to come out and be felt, come out and be realized, expand, reach, pull the chip, get bigger, get more expansive, get stronger in this, right? And that's how you enter into November as we're in Scorpio season. I want to be the person that I've always thought of being. I want to be someone I'm proud of, right? I want to be someone other people can be proud of. I want to be this version of me that is in my head, right? And that's the fuel behind you when it comes to the first week. And then we have this full moon going into Taurus, which is making it so that you're ending themes that you've been playing out since Taurus season of this year, which was right before Jupiter transited into Cancer, which is, again, your relationship to pleasure, your relationship to your sensuality. It's like this, many of you are going to be going through this kind of self-care moment, which is wanting to get more sensual, wanting to get more attractive, wanting to add more pleasure into your life, into your social dynamics, not wanting to kind of skimp on that. For others of you, it can be honestly a revelation in the fact that you have too much pleasure and not enough persistence, and really needing to realize that you maybe over prioritized pleasure and you need to get more honest, more aware. There's this thing that goes through November. How I show up to other people is a priority. How I expand in my social circles and my social networks is the priority. When Venus enters into Scorpio, it heightens this even more. You're growing and you're expanding in this realm of, again, your social life, social networks, and social identity. And it's not giving you a break here, but it's also very beautiful in the way that it especially before Jupiter goes retrograde into Cancer, this first half of November you're you're expanding at such an extreme rate in terms of how, I just keep thinking of it as social awareness. You're expanding at such an extreme rate in terms of how you're seeing yourself. It's almost like you're going to be learning yourself through other people, being able to see other people as the mirror, being able to really see clearly when it comes to other people. And through being able to see them clearly, understand them clearly, look at them clearly, it's like it reflects right back into you. It helps you get better with you. It helps you get better with the way you see and understand you, as if understanding the way other people see you helps you have a better understanding of yourself, if you get what I'm saying. More empowered even when it comes to your relationship with yourself. Now, there may be a conflict with a sibling or, again, your community when it comes to your self worth, when it comes to how you identify in the first week, at the end of the first week of November. Now, we go into the second week of November, and Mercury goes into retrograde. Jupiter retrogrades in Cancer as well. And then we also see Mercury retrograde going into Scorpio. So, as we enter into the second and third weeks, it's not to say conflict carries over, but it's more like conflict at the end of the first week makes it so that you get more on top of how you are being seen, how you're being understood. You want to get very nitty gritty about the truth, very nitty gritty about reality, and you don't want any pushback. Let's just say there's, and I mean reality in terms of how people understand you, how people see you. You're having to really revise and revisit your relationship to relationships, really your relationship to relationships. You can expand through people, but also, I would say that's more in your career and practical matters for this month. On a personal level, it feels more about a lot of, like, as if you're giving to yourself more and not putting up with people, almost like being very, very aware of yourself and how you're navigating and dealing with people, and how, like again, awakening to social empowerment, and how to be in charge, let's just say, through the oppositions, through having to really think it over, think it through, be aware of it. Some of you can be in situations where you have conversations and then go back with yourself and write down how you would better have that conversation. Or you show up at one moment and then you come back into yourself and you say, this is how I'm going to show up better. It's a lot of shifting, a lot of changing. There's a lot of social transformation, social identity transformation in the month of November. And it's something that is a major priority to you because it's shaking and rupturing the inside of you. The way that other people have been, yeah, not getting you, or your need to be got, your need to have this power, have this on top of this kind of experience, let's just say. And for a lot of you, it could simply be that you are forced to socialize a lot this month. You're forced to really, there's an experience that forces you. It could be that you've traveled. It could be that you're traveling in an area that feels quite karmic, right? It could be you're around a lot of family. It could be something happening at work. Your community. There's something about community, conversations in communities. And for others of you, it's something about siblings, but it's people around you in your close quarters, and you're forced to see, you're forced to understand, you're forced to navigate and be hyper aware of yourself and how you will deal with circumstances and people in order to shift, really, in order to transform, in order to grow, let's just say. Now, from there, we have the new moon happening in Scorpio on the 20th, and Uranus sextiles Neptune. So this is a great energy. We see the way in which all this kind of nitpicky work happens in the 1st of November, and we see it actually transitioning. You're seeing better ways that you can socialize. For a lot of you, it could be that there was kind of resistance in terms of who it is that you're around in the first half of November, and that you're seeing how it can make sense and how it can work now in the second half of November. Not those people, but these people. Not this mode of communication, but this mode of communication. Here's how you're going to get me now. Here's how I'm going to communicate myself now. Here's how this dynamic is going to go now. And it's something that you're feeling confident about. You're feeling more, let's say, good within yourself as this transition happens, as the second half of November happens. Sun goes into Sagittarius, and like I said in the other readings, this Sun in Sagittarius energy feels better for me. I would say that last year, SeaGoat, it wasn't the best energy for you. I would say that you guys kind of struggled a lot during the last Sagittarius season versus this time around. The Sagittarius season feels more balanced. It feels more at ease. It just feels kind of comfortable, let's just say. Things relax down. A lot of that shifting, changing, kind of this is how I do this is how I don't do this. Oh, this person is here, this conversation, that conversation, it starts to ease as we look at the second half of November. After the new moon comes in, there are new ideas new transitions and new truths come out when it comes to you, and you're starting to kind of feel like you have your land legs together. And then we finish off the month with Mercury going direct finally in Scorpio and Venus entering into Sagittarius. So and Saturn finally going direct in Pisces, which is good, Capricorn. This ends the karma tied to your communication and how you are showing up in your community and how your community is seeing you. For others of you, it ends a kind of a strange or strained dynamic with a sibling, or all of it together, right? Community. You when it goes direct, you say, okay, I did it. If people felt upset with you, SeaGoat, or again, you were under some kind of experience where you really had to watch what you say or how you said it, or all of this social stuff, understanding this new world. Some of you could be meeting your partner's families, things like that, situations that really pressurize you socially. Now, this doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't necessarily feel dark, but it does feel like swimming, a lot of social navigation. Now that you know who it is that you are, how will you communicate? How will you show up? And when Mercury goes direct in Scorpio, people want to talk to you. There's a nice ease, there's a nice grace. The conversations are more seamless, they're more relaxed, and you're not afraid to get deep, and people are not afraid to get deep with you. So it's a nice energy. Okay, so I wouldn't say this feels heavy. It feels more like a lot of refinement. Okay, so social refinement, right? So that's what I have for you, SeaGoat, and we're going to get into the reading now. Hi, Capricorn. So here we are for your reading, for your personal, your personal reading for the month of November 2025. So, SeaGoat, what we see going on here is an interesting actually what we talked about in the astrology, an interesting relationship going on with your social life. We've got the Three of Cups. But the Three of Cups is sitting side by side with karmic relationship, and underneath that is the King of Swords, also juxtaposing sabotage, rebuilding, interrogation, repetitive, persistent, working on it. In your shadow, we've got the Seven of Calabash along with the Conqueror. So what's interesting here is we do see a let's say a major on the board. So there is a major here, and the major is happening in your shadow. So it shows us that there is a little bit more attention paid to your shadow than you would, let's say, care to deal with, SeaGoat. There is some fear that you have here in terms of your personal life, and it's this fear of, again, being conquered, this fear of being controlled. You're also afraid of being in this position where you don't necessarily understand what's going on, or like there's an illusion around you, things are elusive. You want to really feel like you're in charge, and the fear here is not being that way, like as if someone else's control can navigate you, can govern you, almost like someone pulling the wool over your eyes, or someone pulling the strings from behind the scenes. And this is due mainly in part to what's going on in your social paradigm. So you're dealing with a karmic social situation, or karmic social situations when it comes to the month of November, this Three of Cups energy. And so, again, just pretty much similar to the things we talked about in the astrology, where are we seeing karmic ties, karmic dynamics, karmic stories playing out when it comes to your social life? In every way, pretty much your social life, your social narrative, life's going to feel like it's on repeat in the month of November. I've been here before. I've seen this before. I dealt with someone like this before. How do I go about this? How do I see this? How do I do this? How do I make sense of this? Especially because we see this King of Swords. So you're going to be in a space which I like, SeaGoat, which is you are feeling very much above water. You're in a King of Swords energy. I love when you embody the King of Swords, because you are the King of Swords. When you are in a place that is very practical, very rational, very reasonable, logical, you are empowered there. And that sense of empowerment finds you through the lens of the King of Swords. And the King of Swords is the part of you, SeaGoat, that says, hey, no, let's make sense of this. Let's go beyond the material. I'm not going to be fooled by what I see. I'm not going to be in my emotional space, but I'm thinking very rationally, very, very logically, very cutthroat in a way, and you're not budging on that energy, let's just say. And it's nice because it's kind of this perspective where you're putting in the work to rise above social dynamics that feel like they could potentially manipulate and control you. Now, we don't see the magician here in terms of your shadow. We don't see that. We more just see. I will bring out the shadow deck now, actually, because, normally I look at the bottom of the deck after the fact. But in the shadow deck, at the bottom of the deck, we have the Four of Cowrie. Okay. So it's clarified by a minor, which is nice, but it's this feeling of things having to be harder than you want them to be. Like the social situation, social healing, social dynamics have to be harder than you want them to be. You don't want to invest in your social life. It feels like you want to feel like almost like it feels unnecessary. There's something about your social paradigms that feel unnecessary on a personal level. But we'll see what comes up in the career and love readings, because it's not to say this pans out in all of your social life. You can enjoy your social life in love, or you can enjoy what you're doing in career. But there's something, especially when it comes to personal relationships, interpersonal relationships, unnecessary things that feel like old stories repeating again. This is the thing that feels like a nuisance to you, and you don't want to deal with this. You don't want to go through this. You do not want to feel controlled, and you do not want to feel, again, like the wool is being pulled over your eyes. And it feels like, I don't want this to be more work than it has to be. I don't want to be focused on this. I don't want to be hyper focused on this. Now, next to that, we see, before I get there, but you are, again, putting in the work to rise above, to be clear, to make sense of things, right? Being persistent to making sense of things. You're building, you're crushing down some relationships, building up others. You're using that sharp mind of the King of Swords, no one can get anything past the King of Swords. The King of Swords is relentless, and his mind is very resilient, and he will not easily be fooled. And that is what is so, let's say, powerful about this energy, SeaGoat. Now, next to that, we see that your advice here is sitting with what is already with you and releasing allegiances. So the thing about these two energies is we see this need to understand that you already have it, SeaGoat. So, and then when you see releasing allegiance, you don't need these people. Be able to understand who you need and who you don't. Who stays and who goes. You're kind of just dealing with stuff. Like you're dealing with people. You're dealing with people. You're navigating things, and it just feels like again, like a nuisance. Almost like I said, a nuisance. And you're using a lot of rationality. Some of you could be dealing with drama in a way, right? The dramas of people. This doesn't feel so intense because, again, at the bottom, at the bottom of the crow deck, we have the Seven of Wands. So you're dealing with people squawking at you. SeaGoat. We see here, what do we see at the bottom? Oh, excuse me. What do we see at the bottom of this? We've got you standing on the top of this ledge and a bunch of people trying to kind of knock you off your pedestal, trying to affect you, trying to get to you. So I was just going to say that this doesn't feel so intense, but actually for some of you, you really could be dealing with drama. You could be dealing with people, especially old people, right? Because karma, we're looking at karma. Now, these can be new people who have old faces, let's just say, right? Old stories, different situations that you've dealt with at this time you're having to deal with now, and you're being very sharp through it, right? You will not be in this type of situation. You know that you refuse to be in a situation where you're being controlled, you're being manipulated, you're being confused. You know you're not doing this, right? You're navigating through this well, and the reality is, like we're just going to bring. Okay, so at the bottom of the clarity deck, we've got not today, avoiding conversation, boundaries, still angry, disconnection, and then we've got the Seven of Wands. So it seems to me that what it is that you're dealing with when it comes to people, and I'm sorry, SeaGoat, but a lot of you are really learning your boundaries through dealing with old people, old stuff. Again, it can be new people that feel like old people. So I've been through this before. I've met people like you before. I know how this is going to go, and I'm not doing this. I'm keeping myself boundaried, right? I'm clear. I'm not in my emotions, and I cannot be fooled by the material. I'm in my King of Swords energy. The King of Swords doesn't need anything. Remember, release the earthly tether, right? The King of Swords is the King of Air. Air is not connected to anything. Air cannot be manipulated. It cannot be fooled with the material. It is in control of its ego. It's clear. It's can be cutthroat. You cannot fool this person, and you are showing up as someone that cannot be fooled. And so this puts you in the space of this Seven of Wands. It seems like you have a lot of people that want to knock you off that pedestal, SeaGoat. They want to get to you. Again, a lot of you could be dealing with dramas, social dramas, old people, family dynamics, work dynamics, friendships. You've been here before. You've been here before, and this time you're aware that it's a competition. You're aware that it's because you stand on top of that ledge. You hear the birds squawking, but you won't allow them to affect your stability, let's just say, your serenity as you sit on the top. The thing that I love about this Seven of Wands is the fact that it shows an unmesswithable bird, let's just say. This bird here cannot be, this crow, it's not just a bird, it's a crow. This crow here cannot be moved. They know that these other crows wish they had their spot. These other crows can squawk and scream and holler, and this crow will not be moved. This crow is going to stay exactly where they are with these boundaries very strong and very intact. Right? Very strong and very intact boundaries. I will not do this. I will not be moved. I will not be ruptured. Here's what's not going to happen. Very clear, very concise. Yeah, very much not to be messed with. So that's the kind of energy you're carrying, SeaGoat, and that's the dynamic that's happening. So the dramas that you are dealing with is because of, you're triggering people. You are dealing with competitiveness. Whatever these birds squawk about, it's just because they are intimidated or threatened by the throne you sit on, basically, the power that you hold. You can be making people feel insecure, making them feel triggered. And so you're repeating these kind of dynamics where you're dealing with microaggressions or overt aggressions. I don't see major fighting here, so a lot of it feels more like microaggressions. Like, again, dramas, just dramas. And because in the shadow we don't see actual conflict, we see this kind of energy of, again, Seven of Cups, the conqueror, like as if it's more like people trying to control you. It's more like, I'm not in the mood for someone to think that they can exercise some kind of dominance here. There is no room for ego. I'm my own boss, let's just say, right? And I don't want this to be more difficult than it has to be. I'm not in the mood. This is what a lot of this feels like. Not in the mood. Not in the mood for the power struggle, because we're also talking about the Emperor here with the Conqueror. Not in the mood for the power struggle. Not in the mood for the manipulation. Just no, this isn't going to happen. Clear, concise, navigating through these social dramas. I'm aware that these birds are squawking because I'm standing on the top of this ledge here. And frankly, they can compete. They can do whatever it is that they want. My boundaries are strong, and I will not allow myself to be ruptured. Let's just say that. So from there, SeaGoat, we've got your advice is what is already with you, and releasing allegiances to bring this back. So in this case, you're in a space where your advice is to understand you don't need anything. Anybody that is creating this kind of karmic drama dynamic, you don't need them. You're good on your own. You already have everything you need. Focus on yourself, SeaGoat. Focus on what it is that you already have. And most importantly, this is kind of this feeling of knowledge as well. This I know that I'm this bird standing on the top of this ledge, right? I'm aware of myself. Dream a beautiful dream, right? You don't need anyone or anything that does not serve you in the way that you desire, right? Focus on what it is that you really want. Focus on creating the life that you truly want for yourself. Disconnect. Focus on what you already have and disconnect. Literally disconnect from the people, the situation, anyone that doesn't serve, anyone that doesn't work in your favor. It's not necessary. You don't need anything from them. You don't need anything. Now, in your mind, SeaGoat, we have your inner spiritual power can heal circumstances in your life and our world in greater ways than you realize. Journey within to gain clarity and conscious redirection of your inner energies toward that which you wish to manifest. Do not try to control what is happening. Yes, because these two, SeaGoat, are all about relinquishing the idea of aggressive control. Do not try to control what is happening. Instead, work to bring positive influence to bear so that you may contribute constructively towards shaping the outcome for the greatest good. So again, SeaGoat, it's you're needing to really don't try to again control or navigate or make sense of or overly invest in these dramas. When we're talking about the Seven of Wands energy, we're talking about people that are competing with you. We're talking about people that wish that they could get in your head, wish that they could take you off your throne. It's a lot of, little squawking. It's not worth it. It's not necessary. You're going to be a little triggered by people, and you kind of go through the dynamic and let it go. Release it, SeaGoat, right? Disconnect from anyone that doesn't serve you. Do not try to create bonds or ties with anyone that creates resistance for you. Do not try to control it either. You already have everything that you need. Again, it says work to build the energy within so that you can contribute to the more positive outcome on the outside. I don't go into the space of the SeaGoat trying to control people. Right? Trying to control the outcome, trying to control how this is going to go, trying to, don't get caught up in again, the dramas of the Three of Cups. I know that there's a lot of Cancer in the sky. I know that there's a lot of water in the sky. For this time, SeaGoat, let water be water. Let the dramas be the dramas, SeaGoat. This is not your space. This is not your dance. This is not your war. You just bring positive influence to bear. You don't have to change your steps. Again, the Seven of Wands, like we see in that card, that Seven of Wands knows who they are. They know that those birds are squawking because they wish they had their spot. Nothing to get ruptured about, nothing to get affected by. Just let it be. You focus on your own energy, go within yourself, realize you don't need anything from anyone else, and do that. Press the ignore button. Now, this is an air energy. This is asking you for clarity. And then secondly, it's asking you for more clarity. So we've got air and air. So this is about what's going on in your mind, SeaGoat, King of Swords. You gain a lot of power through being the King of Swords this month, getting clear in your head. Do not allow your emotions to get involved in this mess. It is just the same old karmic stories. Do not allow yourself to get involved in this mess, okay? Rise above in your mind. Rise above in your mind. Go into a space of clarity, right? Both of these are air. There's a gentler way to proceed and obtain the same or even greater effect. Tame the wild and frenzied workings of the mind by grounding yourself with beauty, pleasure, and grace. Violence and its negative effects shall be overcome and healed through feminine gentleness and inner spiritual strength. This oracle is a sign of a great future. Now, what is so powerful about this, SeaGoat, is because it's this energy that says your mind needs to step into this King of Swords energy and say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to use rationality, logic, clarity, precision to navigate this mess, right? What I love is air deals really, really well with the dramas of water, right? There's nothing that tames an unhinged water energy, which is people and their emotions and their dramas and stuff, better than some nice, clean rationality, logic, intelligence, and know-how. And that's the kind of energy you need to be in, SeaGoat. Your mind is asking you to be aware that your inner power can fix the situation. Not that you need to work on fixing the situation, but it can influence the situation, right? You exuding your power, being in your power, understanding what it is that you already have, heals the situation. It makes it work in your favor. Be gentle, SeaGoat. You don't have to fight, SeaGoat. You don't have to work even at it. Just leave it alone. The thing that you need to be focused on is just understanding there is a gentler, better way to navigate the situation, right? That's what your mind needs to understand. Tame the wild and frenzied workings of the mind by grounding yourself with beauty, pleasure, and grace. Violence and its negative effects shall be overcome and healed through feminine gentleness, right? Your inner strength is the thing that brings about, let's say, the outcome that you're looking for. Focus within. Don't get involved. Don't even entertain. So you go, just stay within yourself. And again, even the feminine gentleness for my masculines, this is just staying really good within yourself, really preserved, really at ease. I don't even care. I'm not even going to let this mess with me. I'm not even going to be bothered. I know that I'm standing at the top of that ledge and you're just squawking because you want to be able to rupture me or shake me. You know, I'm good. I see what this is. Getting upset or getting emotional, because remember, the King of Swords is the person that's the most in charge of what it is that he feels. He's on top of what it is that he feels, right? Don't get into it. It's not necessary. What is already with you? You have everything that you need. Disconnect from them. It's not worth it. Now, at the bottom of the healing points deck, which is Beta of Spirit Wolf, which is Earth. So we've got air influencing reality. So the mind influencing what happens in reality. Give yourself enough rest. Only then will you be able to ground yourself enough to cultivate the focus and motivation to fulfill your path. You will find a way through any tricky situation as you tune into your instincts and trust your own timing. From times of change and uncertainty comes confidence, resilience, and love. Embrace transition. Commit to your tasks and stay focused, but be flexible in your approach. You have the skill to intuitively handle any issues. So what happens is your mind allows peace to run over you. Your intuition takes center stage. Your intuition can navigate a weird and tricky situation using your instincts. Your instincts are able to rise. You go into this space of the beta spirit wolf in this way. You know, you're able to rest more because you're not allowing yourself to be ruptured by the stuff that's going on around you or the people that are affecting you. You're staying focused. You're staying agile. You're staying aware. Use your intuition. Use your instincts. Do not be persuaded or swayed in any kind of way. And that's the thing that happens when you allow your mind to be at ease, because there's nothing to sweat here, SeaGoat. There's nothing to even waste your time on. Nothing to even waste your time on, okay? Like we say, dream a beautiful dream. That's what this energy brings about for you. Stay focused on yourself and what it is that you want to see come into fruition. Disconnect from anyone that doesn't serve. It's not worth it. You know who you are this time around, right? This isn't worth it. You're not worth it. Anyway, I'm focused on what it is that I want to create and build for myself outside of this. All right, so we've got seeing, thinking, feeling. Thinking, feeling, doing, being. I saw a justice come out. So again, more about karma. More about karma, SeaGoat. Oh, I'm sorry for the kick. Yeah, this month doesn't feel so heavy to me. This doesn't feel dark. It just feels like, whatever. You know, like just, anyway. But I am concerned about the fact that the conqueror is in the shadow. So you guys are afraid. You are thinking about this. You see this desire to control you around you. But you're navigating well. Power dynamics. All right, so we've got thinking, feeling. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. Doing. Being. Wow. All right, SeaGoat. I was not expecting that. And the justice came. Oh, I'm sorry to yell, my SeaGoats. I apologize. The justice goes again. Remember I said the justice came out when I first started shuffling. So she found us again. So the justice, this is karma, SeaGoat. You are dealing with karma. That's all there is. You are navigating, dealing with, and understanding karma. Old cycles, old stories, old narratives come to find you again. Okay, so, and you also need to be aware of what is fair and what isn't fair, right? What you give is what you take, right? Be on top of the scales. On top of the scales. Do not allow anything to overly affect you, because you when your eye gets keen, right? Going to the King of Swords, the King of Swords is not known to be the most intuitive, but the King of Swords, his brilliance is found in his ability to understand, let's say, situations so well, because he is always balancing the scales. He is always thinking about what is fair, what is right. And when you understand the balance of the scales and the dance of karma, you can kind of see the outcome on the other side. You can see what will be because of what was given. SeaGoat, I'm a little bit worried about our battery. Hold on a sec. Yeah, I'm hoping that our battery doesn't die, SeaGoat. But, okay, so your mind needs to be on the Five of Swords. Okay, so we're in a space where you need to be aware of the battles. You need to be aware of the bloody battles. Again, I don't want you guys to get worried here, because the Five of Swords is still a minor, okay? But yeah, you need to know for this month where the fight is. And it's not to say be guarded, but yeah, you need to know where the fight is. You need to know where the conflict is. Do not be naive to it. Your feelings need to be in the Five of Pentacles. So someone who is aware of the fight, aware of the BS, let's just say, but is ready to disconnect at all costs. I will not entertain. I am not interested. Five of Pentacles is a space of empowerment when it's in your own hands, just like the Five of Swords, right? Because I am aware of the fight, I will not invest. I don't need you. I don't want to need you. I am ready to disconnect, cut off, abandon any situation or person. In this case, this is about your social life or your social paradigm, any situation or person that does not serve. I am ready to be in this Five of Pentacles energy. I don't need this, right? And I am empowered because I can put you out in the cold. Right? I can abandon this. I can disconnect from this. That's where it is that your emotions need to be. Just walk away, close the door. I love the Five of Pentacles when it comes into an advice card, because it's saying, for me, it's always just don't care. Just literally turn the other cheek. Turn the other cheek to the person, place, or situation. You see the battles, see them, be aware of them, understand them. Don't invest in them. Now, what it is that you need to be doing is the Ace of Wands. So this tells me that despite all of these things in terms of social paradigms, you need to allow yourself to be in a space of passion and renewal, as if you're ready to, because the thing about the Ace of Wands is it is the first ace in the deck. So it's the person that is with no agenda. This is not ready for love. This is not ready for a new reality. This is not ready for a new way of think. The Ace of Wands is just ready for a new way, period. I tend to think of it as lava bursting out of the ground, right? That first wave of fire that bursts out of the ground. This is you needing to say, as you let go of the old, as you separate yourself from the situations and people that do not serve, you're simply ready to start brand new. So your passion is in this space where you're not interested in, you're just not interested in the BS, and you're so ready for whatever's new, whatever's clever, whatever works. And you're so ready for the new that you are, again, very much ready to disconnect from anyone and anything. I would say that this November is you being very, very self-preserved this month. And you're being self-preserved in a way that is very deliberate, very overt. And it's almost like you're going to exude a carelessness anytime you feel like you're facing opposition. And you're carrying that passion, you're carrying that torch with you that says, no, 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 no. And I'm the one that is saying yes. And I'm saying yes to whatever new thing, so ready for the new, right? So when we look at the Four of Swords, that's what it is that you need to be doing with the Ace of Wands. With the Four of Swords, this is who you need to be. So what I think is interesting here is the Four of Swords is a person that is receptive, a person that is relaxed. And so this kind of goes back into my space, Seagoat, about the healing points advice, which is air. And the Four of Swords is also air. So it is this space of gentleness. The way in which air can be receptive, not necessarily passive, but just not active. Right? Allow yourself to be in a state of rest. Don't like again, Seagoat, that Ace of Wands is for the fire that you want to keep lit for the things that you actually feel like investing in. Anything else, which is all of this is social, everyone else is just not worth it. Do not fight. Again, your mind needs to be aware of the fight, but your body, you yourself are in a space where you're just, no, I'm not in the mood. I'm not interested. I am literally not even going to engage. And that's kind of it, right? I deserve to rest. I deserve to be detached. I deserve to not care, right? And it'll be good for your peace of mind. Like it says, gentleness is the answer here. Positive influence to bear. Don't try to control what is happening. Just release, just disconnect from anyone that doesn't serve. Realize what it is that you already have. This is a very calm kind of energy that you are embodying. The serenity of air. The serenity of when air just, I'm not going to do this. I see this. What do they say? I've seen all I've needed to see, right? I've seen all I've needed to see. It's kind of that. It's kind of that. I like this energy for you, Seagoat. I like it. We see the crap with people, but you're not really letting it affect you. Now, so here we have the call of the dancing crane for your advice. All right, Seagoat. So, dancing crane moves through waters in muddy marsh with grace and elegance. The mating call and dance of the crane is full of beautiful movement and flow. There are times when the astral waters of our emotional life become stagnant and will benefit from the healing movement, grace, and beauty of this crane. The call of this is a reminder that sound can be healing too. This is particularly so that your thoughts, beliefs, and emotional patterns do not support you in living the destiny you were born to live. Have you ever felt like you were a different person? Ooh, Seagoat. I know that first part felt elusive. Hear this. And then I do know that depending on where you are in the world, this is a time of holidays, depending on where you are in the world. We are in holiday season. Have you ever felt like you were a different person on holidays or when you were traveling? This is because you were free of the astral gravity that you were usually live within on a day-to-day basis. The astral plane is like glue. When we put enough energy of habit into thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, and stories from our past that condition how we interpret current life experiences. So I'm going to read that again. When we put enough energy of habit into thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and stories from our past that condition how we interpret current life experiences, we can get stuck in astral gravity, unable to let go of ways of thinking, reacting, even if we really wish to do so. We can create sticky astral thoughts and beliefs that attach to houses, places, and people. When we are in a different environment, we often have a chance to create fresh habits, beliefs, which is why a holiday or travel can be so refreshing and inspiring. Sometimes, however, that is not practical, and we need healing to break through the muddy stagnation of old thoughts and beliefs right now. Seagoat. Yeah, that's pretty intense for you, my lovely Capricorn. So for a lot of you, very straightforward. Many of you are dealing with, again, old patterns. So this can be family dynamics, old social circles, people, and things like that. And you're having to, this is not a time, as it said, you're not on a holiday. You're not on you're around familiar spaces, and you need to rethink the way you look at familiar people, places, and situations. That's the journey. That's the task here, SeaGoat. How are you looking at familiar spaces? You have to rethink and re-feel the way you're doing old things, old relationships. Do not deviate from your path. Attract a mentor if needed. Plan where you want to be. So again, plan where you want to be in terms of your emotions, your emotional body. You need to make a plan about how you want to navigate yourself differently now, SeaGoat. No more emotional stagnancy. No more old karmic stories. If it's an old relationship, old people, again, family or whomever, old narratives, old society, old community, you have to reshift or let's say replant, repot, churn the water, shift the water, refresh the water in terms of how you look at old situations. Do not allow emotional stagnancy to replay itself. Make a plan to get out of an old paradigm. And for you, this is your social paradigm. This is not a time to just disconnect or run away or disassociate. This is a time to look at the old karmic story and create a new one. All right, create a new one. Ups and downs, closed doors. This is not forever. Okay, so I love you so very, very much, SeaGoat. Ciao.